In the year 1428, when the shadows of the 100 Years' War darkened the French horizon, a lament echoed across the war-torn lands. France, afflicted by the English yoke, saw its cities besieged, fields ravaged, and its people sunk in misery. The French crown, fragmented and weakened, struggled to preserve its sovereignty amidst the chaos that ravaged the nation. In England, King Henry VI, driven by expansionist ambitions and a fervent nationalism, laid claim to the French throne. The war had become a quest for glory and wealth, fueling the hatred that burned between the two nations like glowing embers. Amidst this desolate landscape, where France's fate seemed sealed by the turmoil of battles, a light emerged from the darkness. Joan of Arc, the Maid of Orleans. Driven by a faith that did not waver in the face of the war's shadows, and by a patriotism that burned like an inextinguishable flame, Joan emerged as a figure destined to challenge the course of history. The heavenly voices of Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, and Saint Margaret whispered in her ears, revealing a mission that transcended the boundaries of reality to free France from the relentless grip of the English invaders. It was the call to an epic journey that would take her beyond the boundaries of the known. Leaving behind her humble life in the fields of Domremy, she became the beacon of hope that her nation so desperately needed. In the year 1429, the young Joan, only 17 years old, embarked on a brave journey from Domremy to Chinon, where King Charles VII sought refuge. The perilous path crossed lands dominated by the English, but Joan's determination remained unwavering, fueled by a divine conviction that guided her every step. Upon arriving in Chinon, Joan was met with the distrust of the royal court. Her humble appearance and reliance on celestial visions sparked skepticism. Faced with the challenge of proving her mission, she underwent rigorous interrogations and tests. In a setting filled with disbelief, Joan not only impressed the court with her intelligence, but also with an unwavering faith that radiated from her very being. In doing so, she managed to persuade King Charles VII that she was the one chosen by God to lead France to victory. With the king's backing, Joan of Arc donned her armor and raised her sword, taking command of the French troops. Her presence was electrifying, and her fervent faith inspired the soldiers, filling them with courage and hope. Joan rode across the battlefield with the French flag waving in the wind, her voice thundering like a storm. "God wills it!" became her battle cry, rallying the French people around the common goal of driving the English from their land. She embodied the voice of freedom, an inspiring warrior whose call echoed in the hearts of those yearning for justice and independence. The name Joan of Arc became synonymous with courage, leadership, and the relentless pursuit of freedom amidst the turmoil of war. Joan of Arc, far from being an experienced warrior, was a young peasant whose courage transcended the common ranks of war. Her rise to command the French army was an epic journey marked by challenges, one that began in the humble fields of Domremy and led her to the strongholds of military power. Defying expectations and the skeptics who doubted her abilities, Joan embarked on an arduous journey, guided by her unwavering faith and a burning conviction in her divine calling. As the clamor of battle grew louder, she stood as a beacon of hope for an oppressed people, transforming from a simple peasant into a fearless leader. Joan of Arc, now leading the French troops, unleashed a series of remarkable victories that echoed across the battlefields, reverberating like a hymn of triumph. Her strategic acumen and inspiring leadership turned the tide of the war, and the French flag returned to its rightful place, fluttering triumphantly over lands once subdued. Battle after battle, Joan displayed military mastery that transcended conventional experience. Her army, driven by the faith in the cause she embodied, reclaimed cities and fortresses long held under English control. The flame of freedom, ignited by Joan, burned intensely in the hearts of the soldiers and the French people. However, Joan of Arc's journey towards liberating France was not without its challenges. In her final push against the English at Compiègne, the battle reached epic proportions. Her army, though filled with fervor, faced fierce resistance, and the clash became a whirlwind of steel and flames. Amidst the chaos, Joan bravely faced the enemy, riding at the front lines. However, fortune turned against her. Captured by the English forces, her fearless courage could not prevent the cruel reality of imprisonment. The sun set on the freedom she had so fervently sought, and the heroine who had inspired a nation now found herself in the chains of defeat. The tragic saga of Joan of Arc culminated in the flames of the stake at Rouen, where an unjust sentence sealed the fate of the French heroine. The motives behind her execution were complex, an intricate web of politics, religion, and fear. Joan, captured by the English, became a valuable piece on the chessboard of the 100 Years' War. Moreover, her proclaimed divine mission challenged the legitimacy of English power over France, sparking fear among the English leaders. Joan's trial, marked by accusations of heresy and witchcraft, was driven by political and religious interests. The Church, under the influence of English allies, viewed Joan as a threat to established orthodoxy. Her visions and communication with divine entities were met with suspicion, leading to a trial that aimed to discredit not only the individual, but also the cause she represented. The cruel fate of Joan of Arc was sealed when she was sentenced to death by burning on May 30th, 1431. The fire that consumed her body was fueled not only by wood and flames, but also by the fears and insecurities of those who feared her influence and the questions she raised about English rule. Despite her tragic death, Joan of Arc transcended the role of victim to become a martyr of freedom. Her sacrifice not only rekindled the flames of resistance in France, but also inspired future generations. The injustice she suffered at the stake did not extinguish the light of her courage. Rather, it became an eternal flame that illuminated the path to liberation and independence. The Catholic Church recognized Joan of Arc's significant impact on French history and culture. Her canonization was a gradual process that began with the reopening of her case in the 19th century. In 1456, Pope Callistus III reviewed the original trial and declared Joan innocent of the charges of heresy, a crucial first step in rehabilitating her image. In the 19th century, especially during the rise of French nationalism, Joan was rediscovered as a symbol of resistance and patriotism. Her canonization, however, only occurred in 1920 during the papacy of Benedict XV. The canonization process required extensive evidence and a thorough analysis of her legacy. The Catholic Church canonized Joan of Arc not only as a historical figure, but as an example of Christian virtue. Her courage, unwavering faith, and sacrifice for her country were fundamental elements in her sanctification. Additionally, her life and visions were interpreted as a testament to her special connection with the divine. Joan of Arc, canonized in 1920, continues to be revered as a saint by the Catholic Church. Her canonization not only redeemed her memory from the unjust condemnation she suffered in life, but also immortalized her as an icon of inspiration for believers and admirers around the world. Consider subscribing to the channel with notifications turned on for more journeys through history and mythology. See you on the next journey. Bye.